It's the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul, the podcast about stories in business and in life with your hosts Ed Fox and Paul Odendahl.
And now with a little music playing in the background, Michael Weitzman is going to be coming on, and here he is. They're going to take a minute for a informational commercial. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Break. I'll be right back. All right. I am so excited today.
Well, we're just wrapping up, actually, Paul. We got it all in like 3 minutes, so we're done.
All right. Well, I apologize, viewers. I woke up this morning and I said, well, I'm always silent like that for a second. I said, let me think about my guest for today. How should I dress? So I felt this was the appropriate way to dress for my guest today. What an amazing. By the way, Ed, are you ever going to invite some guests to the show?
Hey, you're doing a good job. Why would I mess that up?
That's true. So I figured this would be the appropriate dress to wear. Well, it's not a dress, but a shirt.
We don't know it's not a dress, by the way, viewers.
That's true.
It's a shmata in the Jewish word.
A shmata? What's a shmata?
Pretty ugly looking dress, but I'm just kidding.
What?
It's
this beautiful color. This beautiful color reminded me of your personality. Your amazing personality. I don't think this is ugly at all.
Cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriate. Look at you guys. So
you beat me on that.
This might be an episode that you guys need to watch on YouTube because we got two goofballs on here. Actually, we probably got three goofballs on here today. And Paul's got his African shirt on. I've got my Hawaiian Christmas shirt on. And then they were both wearing Patch Adams noses, the red clown noses. So, hey, if you listen to it on the podcast, that's great. And you'll get a lot out of it. But also check us out on YouTube and Facebook as well. Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul. Hey, Michael, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Glad you're here. Oh, Paul's put his glasses on. He's getting serious. Oh, my goodness.
Yes. I'm excited about this interview. I'm very excited about this interview because many reasons.
Man, you stumble over those punchlines. Like, you just I'm looking for a big insight, and we get many reasons. So you have to think about that. Hey, Michael, give us some background, man. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what's going on in your life.
Well, I'm going to give you the cliff notes very quick.
Okay.
It all started in my life
at a very early age.
First, I was born,
yep.
and I always say that was a good thing. But most importantly, it was when I was 16 years old. It's really all started with my mental illness. I don't even like using the word illness anymore. I call it a mental injury from my friend, Dr. Rob Kelly. But it started at 16. I failed my road test 3 times. When I failed my road test 3 times, it was the worst traumatic experience, socially, mentally, physically. That started the downward trend of suffering with my mental illness for over 40 years. And then I tried to get a job, and then I got into the mortgage industry. I did really well, but the money was I call it antidepressant. I was doing unbelievably well. I made tons of money. But how can you have mental health conditions when you're making all that money? It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do about anything like that. So I just got a great job in the mortgage industry, and then basically I just, from 2006 to 2014, was sick as can be with my depression, bipolar. I came out of the mental health closet in 1999, and that's where I finally got help. I got on I call it the triangle, the psychiatrist, the meds, and whoever the talker might be. And mine was a therapist, but it never got me to the promised land. I suffered again for 15 years with my mental health condition, and I could not get and stay mentally well. That's the most important thing. So very simply, on October 16, 2014, I went into my 6th psychiatric hospital. And a couple months before that, I think you know the guy. His name is Robin Williams. Unfortunately, suicide, or I call it Lewy body dementia, took Robin Williams' life. Here he is right here in Patch Adams, I'll get into in a minute. So when he took his life, I got so sick when suicide took his life that I went into my 6th hospitalization in October 16, 2014. But this time, since I suffered and suffered in silence for over 40 years, I said, this time I'm going to do everything in my power while I'm in a psychiatric hospital to work on a workshop presentation called The Three Amigos of Mental Health, where I can be a spokesman, an advocate, a speaker, performer, and comedian and help people with their mental health and their mental health challenges. So while I was in that psychiatric hospital, that was my aha moment. I said, all I got to do is get and stay mentally well. And then I got in, got out, got discharged, and I just work hard in my mental health field. I work for a psychiatric hospital where I used to be a patient at. And during all these times, now before that, I was in 6 psychiatric hospitals, 22 ECT treatments. I had shingles on my face twice in 9 months, which is unbelievable. How do you get it in 9 months? Because worrying all the time. And then basically 4 outpatient clinics and a suicide attempt. I will always remember the date when I used these gloves, which I don't tell people how or what I did, to try to take my life on January 2nd, 2008. And that was the last date I would see my wife, which is now a ex-wife. And then I would not see the kids for a little bit until I had to work on my recovery. And it was a very tough 15 years being married to an unsupportive, unloving wife. I couldn't get mentally well and stay mentally well with my depression, bipolar. So once I got out, I haven't looked back. I'm in the mental health field. I am now a trained, certified peer support specialist. I'm a professional, motivational, inspirational, memorable, maximum impact mental health speaker, performer, advocate, care coordinator, and stand-up comedian. So now I'm helping and really helping everybody with their mental health, whether it's addiction, whether it's suicide thoughts. Who else would be the best person to do that can relate to their audience that is either suffering or suffering in silence with their mental health, and educate the ones not suffering with the Three Amigos of Mental Health Workshop to let them know so they can understand what it tastes like and what it feels like to have a mental health condition, to have mental health challenges, because they're the ones contributing to this gigantic stigma of mental illness. So I call it now a mental health injury, a mental health condition. And when I was in the hospital, I came up with things called you see it right here? Here it is.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Michael, you know, what's great about being on our show, you're dealing with 2 guys with mental injuries and clearly lack of humor. So can you, like, with our audience, share a little of the humor? So you're about to do that. Share some of the humor that has helped you.
Again, to me, I'm not making fun of mental health or mental illness or mental health conditions. I'm getting people to have fun. So you have a mental health condition. So you might have a disability. So much you might have a chronic illness and have cancer. You might be in a wheelchair. Whatever's going on with you, you all are created equal. But when I do my workshop, I want to have fun with my mental health without making fun. So I came up with this. Here it is. Bipolar gum. You see? I have bipolar gum that has come out on the streets. I'll give you some when I do the seminars. I throw bipolar gum for you. Bipolar gum for you. So now you too can have the taste and the feel of having bipolar. That's right. You can have the taste and the feel of having bipolar. But don't worry. Each stick comes with free hospitalization, ECT treatment, and permission to run naked in your local shopping mall. I've done that 3 times. So chew up, ladies and gentlemen. Chew up, America. And I got schizophrenia mint gum coming out next week. What's it about? Have fun with your mental health. Don't make fun. Have fun. So I make it cool, fun, sexy, enjoyable, engaging, interactive to talk and work on your mental health and your mental health challenges.
So for people out there that are struggling for some of this stuff, number one, what are some of the symptoms that might help them recognize it? And then what are some of the choices they could make to help improve it?
Very good question.
He has a toolbox. He has a toolbox.
Well, I'll get into the toolbox, but I'll get into that. Before I get into the toolbox, he wants to know about symptom. How about the pandemic that is still raging at this time? The biggest and the one symptom that I went through for 40 years was called isolation. There are so many people that are struggling right now. There's been an increase in mental health conditions, suicide, opioid use, and addiction because of this pandemic. Isolation is one of the biggest symptoms. I also used to overreact to things. I used to show anger. I used to have anxiety, lots of stress, beat myself up like you would not believe, because the depression, bipolar wouldn't go away. These are just some of the symptoms that I went through. I had negative thoughts. There's so many different things that I went through. So the question is like, so what was it that finally got me to get and stay mentally well? So I tried the triangle. Here's the triangle. Like I said, the psychiatrist, the meds, and the talker. So that's really good. And I want everyone to go on the triangle. So you're saying, who could they call? There's clinics, there's hospitals, psychiatrists, therapists. There's people in your own community, NAMI, MHA. There's so many types of organizations, mental health organizations that people can go with. But the most important thing they need to deal with, and this is in my workshop, is first, besides I'm trying to get rid of the stigma of mental illness and mental health conditions, it's all about how people need to open up and deal with acceptance. Because if they're in denial that they have a drinking problem, if they're in denial that they have a mental health condition, if they're in denial that they're not going to tell anyone about their suicide thoughts, then how are they going to get better if they're not coming out of the mental health closet? So that's the number one I tell people is you got to tell your story. You need to tell people, whether it's your parents, people at your school, and then work with the school or other places with these clinics to work with. Now, for me, I'm a little different. I'm a different type of resource. I want people to contact me because I want them to keep doing the triangle, which I used to do for 15 years, but it didn't get me to the promised land. What got me to the promised land was this. This is called the wellness toolbox, where I use all my wellness tools. So what got me is doing a to-do list, journaling, doing meditation, deep breathing exercises, affirmations, a creed, prayer. Here comes to the good part. A creed, prayer, God, Bible, Jesus. These are incredible wellness tools. 10 years ago, with 4 other people, including Paul, I accepted Jesus. I'm a Jewish man that accepted Jesus 10 years ago. And that is one of my favorite, well, I wouldn't say favorite, it's up there in the top 5 as my wellness tool. Jesus is up there really high, and so is God. But these are the wellness tools that got me to get and stay mentally well. I'm a different type of resource. I want people to use wellness tools, and most importantly, of all the wellness tools, of course, use humor. Laughter and smiles is one of your best wellness tools. And the reason why is the reason. Let me ask you a question, Ed and Paul. And Paul might know the answer, but I'm going to do this more for Ed. How many times how many times does a 4-year-old laugh and smile during the day?
No idea.
Every time he sees Ed.
300 and 400 times a day, Ed, they laugh and smile. How many times does a 40-year-old laugh and smile during the day?
4-year-old.
A 40-year-old.
4-year-old.
Not
4-year-old.
Not 40. Sorry.
How often?
Between 3 and 12 times a day. Do you think we need more humor and laughter and smiles in our life? I mean, you can do all these wellness tools. You can do walks on the beach, acupuncture, hypnosis, go to Bible study, go into, I joined a group with Paul, Men of Hope. It's great. People think we don't just we get into the scriptures, but we get into our feelings. We get into so many things that we're going through. And when we help, and what's the most important thing? We listen and we learn from each other. So these are all wellness tools, man. I mean, I don't understand why people want to, I'm not saying don't use medicine, don't use psychiatrists, don't use a therapist. That's not what I'm saying. I still take a little bit of medicine, but I was able to wean off. I don't need a therapist. I am my own therapist, coach, counselor, peer support specialist. But for other people, you can eventually do some weaning, but work with your psychiatrist on that. But at the same time, instead of just using the triangle, use that with the wellness tools, man. That's it. And like I tell people, you've heard, Ed. I don't know if you're married. I don't know your status, but you've heard of Match.com. You ever heard of Match.com?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, Match.com, they have a new site, Ed. They have a new site that's called MatchMD.com.
Right.
And those are for people that have mental disorders. So on the normal site, I find a woman that has blonde hair and blue eyes and likes to dance. But on this other site, I find a woman that pees a lot, has mood swing problems, and anger management issues. You know what, Ed? I'm in love. Yeah, I'm in love. And we're going unsteady. That's right. We're going unsteady. Get it? Unsteady. So again, what is it about? Have fun with your mental health. Do jokes. You hear about the guy that went into the restaurant? You hear about the guy who went into the restaurant?
I did
Go
not.
on, Ed. He went into the restaurant. He goes right to the waiter. He says, "Waiter, I would like to have a bowl of chicken soup." So the waiter yells to the chef, "One bowl of chicken soup." So then the guy was sitting down, you know what? I decided I don't want the chicken soup anymore. I don't want that. I decided I want to have the pea soup. So the waiter yells to the chef, "Hold that chicken and make it pea." Again, have fun, man. Have fun with your health. Do these jokes. I know your jokes. We're not going to get into spam, and we're not going to get into Australian accents. I heard your show. I don't do them, and I don't eat spam, so I understand that. But be honest, did you hear about the butcher that backed into the meat grinder? Did you hear about that? It was on the news just a little while ago. The butcher that backed into the meat grinder. He got a little behind in his work. Again, have fun with your mental health.
Great. From this show, we're going to have book 3 coming out from Ed. Book 3 will be on Amazon shortly.
I'm already working on it.
Co-host.
I'm already working on it. So Reader's Digest has been telling us for 99 years, laughter is the best medicine. Laughter is the best medicine. Turn that frown upside down. Laugh at it. I agree 100%.
Well, it dull and kills the pain. It's also a sign for success. Now you can do job interviews as long as it's appropriate humor. It's so many, the endorphins, the serotonins, the dopamine releases from the brain. It's all a happy, fuzzy feeling. Listening to humor or doing humor, watching humor, laughter and smiles, man. And you know what the best reason you want to have humor, laughter, smiles in your life?
Why?
It will make you live a longer life.
Right.
You know how I know that, Ed? I Googled it. No, seriously. It will last a long time. Like Bob Hope lived 100. You got Mel Brooks is 95. Oh, I got something for you, Ed. 171. And look at me. I just turned 2 days ago on the 17th. I had a birthday. I don't think I told you. Yeah, I had a birthday. I just turned 748 months old.
There you go.
What's the matter? You need a calculator? Yeah, I just turned 740 months. My parents, my mom never converted the months over to years. Never did. So this day, when you're 6 months old, you're 9 months, you become 13 months, and then you get to 18 months, and then when you get to 2, you don't talk in months anymore. Well, my mom never converted over months to years. She would go, "Look, there's my son. He's 485 months old. Isn't he cute?" And I would go, "Mom, enough already. Converting months over to years. It's embarrassing." Again, have fun.
Well, we look at George Burns, right? George Burns smoked and drunk and made it to 100.
Yep.
I mean,
George Burns, another one. I told you.
Humor.
Phyllis Diller. Fellas, there was no. You got so many of these people. There is a correlation of humor and laughter and smiles that hopefully, I believe, it will make you live a longer life. That's really what it's all about, man.
And then there was silence. Michael, I have never seen a guest on our show that has had Ed lean forward into the show and pay attention so well. Can you please come back many, many times?
Well, I
listen,
struggle,
guys, listen. Besides, yeah, we know you struggle. You two guys are the humor for my life, dealing with you two. Michael, tell us a little bit about, Ed's not aware. I've known you for a number of years. It's been a huge blessing. You bring a lot of laughter to my life in a very good way. Tell us a little bit about the motivational speaker and some of the characters, or a character or two that you play, and some opportunities you've had. I think I've heard that you had an opportunity on America's Got Talent. You also have an opportunity, I think, coming up on a British show similar to America's Got Talent. Tell us a little bit about your characters.
I have a character. Her name is Mrs. Staying Alive. Mrs. Staying Alive, Ed, is Patch Adams meets Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay.
She's basically my little tribute to the amazing Robin Williams. She's all about getting rid of the stigma of mental illness by using humor as one of her biggest wellness tools. And she's all about equality, equity, diversity, and inclusion for all people, no matter what's going on with them, whether they're suffering with mental illness, disabilities, chronic illnesses, and that we are all created equal. This is Mrs. Staying Alive. I don't know if you can see her. Here you go. Can you see? Here she is.
Oh, a thing of beauty. A thing of beauty.
She's gorgeous. There's Mrs. Staying Alive. So Mrs. Staying Alive auditioned 3 times on America's Got Talent. Unfortunately, it's their loss, because now I'm boycotting to watch the show because I didn't get on 3 years in a row.
Lost another sponsor. We're losing sponsors left and right.
No, it's all right. It's okay. If they don't want me, it will be their loss, but it's okay. But I did audition for Britain's Got Talent, so I might even get on that. But even if I didn't get on, this character is it's doing all the mental health stuff. It's either Michael Weitzman, or my name is called Bip Olar No Longer. Get it? Bip Olar. I took the bipolar, split in half. I'm really creative. So, and Mrs. Staying Alive. That is my character. There's from the Three Amigos of Mental Health. So Mrs. Staying Alive is just another character. I'm the white Medea. You want to call me that? And I'm just trying to see if that character could really talk about really normalizing everything, whether it's mental health conditions, whether you have a disability in a wheelchair, or if you have chronic illness, you have cancer, or you're elderly. What's the reason? I want to show that from Patch Adams, from the movie, here it is. I recommend you watch Patch Adams. It's about helping and improving everyone's quality of life, no matter what's going on with you. And that's so important in the movie Patch Adams with Robin Williams. Robin Williams is my mentor. Robin Williams is why I'm in the mental health field. And that is why I'm so passionate. The passion oozes out of me. I am this amazing, passionate virus that I want you to catch when you hear my voice and when you hear the words. I want it to be contagious. I want my words and actions to be infectious. So you get this Michael Weitzman, Bip Olar No Longer, Mrs. Staying Alive virus in your body, so I can inspire you, educate you, and make you laugh.
Michael, does Mrs. Staying Alive also help individuals who have an issue, or I think you call it a mental injury, on the way they dress? You see the shirt that Ed's wearing today? So does it help people with their wardrobe, or how they dress, or the hats they wear, or no?
Look at Mrs. Staying Alive. She's wearing a schmata. That's a schmata that I'm wearing.
Oh, we're back to a schmata.
We're back to a schmata, okay?
The education on this show. The education on the show is just fabulous.
I got that from the Salvation Army, so I'll make a plug for them. I got my schmata dress there, so it doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you have inside of you, because we're all created equal. Now look, go get yourself, instead of getting almond joy, get this. Get mental joy. Have fun in your life, man. There's so many things that we can do. You see this? I made this in a psychiatric hospital. You see this? I actually made this, a little bobblehead dog. Yeah, this is what got me to get better. I'm just kidding. It wasn't that. It was the wellness tools and humor. God, Jesus, wellness tool, doing an affirmation. If you're worried all the time, which I was, for 6.5 years, I've been saying my affirmation. Stop worrying as much as you can so you could become a much healthier man. Sounds corny, but it's been effective. It became a reality. I don't worry anymore. I don't overreact anymore. I don't beat myself up anymore because I know I have God in my life. I have Jesus in my life. I have humor in my life. I got so many things that's a wellness tool that's in my life. And that's what it is. And what is it all about? To help and improve people's quality of life.
I have Ed in my life. What a wellness tool. I have Ed in my life. When I'm feeling down, when the days get into me like yesterday, when I'm having an issue dealing with life, I reach out to Ed. Yeah. And I get a wake-up call from Ed. A wake-up call to the humor from the Australian. Funny guy.
Hey, Ed, I want to ask you a question, Ed. Do you know that having bipolar is really bad? You know that, right?
Okay.
Having bipolar is really bad. But I'm gonna tell you something, Ed. Since I've had bipolar, it's been great. Since I've had bipolar, it's been great. I focus really well. I'm also really creative. And I have an incredible long sex drive. I really do. I have an incredible long sex drive. I really do. I have to drive 60 miles to see my girlfriend. Sex drive. Again, have fun with the words. Right. Have fun. Make fun. Have fun with your mental health and your mental health challenges. Come on.
Yeah, and you know what? Seek out those professionals. Use those tools that you're talking about. That's where, for me, growing up as the fat kid at school, humor was that way to engage. Instead of laughing at me, they could laugh with me, right? And absolutely. And I love when you walk into an office. I walked into a dental office yesterday, and they're like moping and like not feeling great, and and I just start dropping dad jokes on them, and they just start cracking up and opening up, and they're more alive. And I'm like, well, before I overstay my welcome, I'm going to get out of here. And they're like, oh, bye, see you later. But it's like when you walk in, it's like, what do you want? What do you want? And it affects people. And what I have found is if you use like a dad joke type humor, like yours as well, they're not confrontational. They're not risque. They're not too much, right? And people can know that you're being authentic. I'm being authentic. Paul's being authentic. And that's my catchphrase for 2020 and 2021 is be authentic.
And you have to be clean. Right. You really have to be clean. It's a different world, 2021. Like I have a dirty joke for you right now. I'm sorry, but here's a dirty joke. Why is Tigger always checking the toilet? I don't
know. Why is Tigger always checking the toilet?
Because he's looking for poo.
That joke was a real plus for our show.
I'm telling you. 5-year-olds and 95-year-olds and anyone in between love that joke. I go to nursing homes as myself or Mrs. Staying Alive. What am I going to nursing homes and assisted living places? To engage them. They have dementia. They have disabilities. They're in a wheelchair. Or they have bed sores like my mom had, God forbid. People have that too. And what am I doing there? To improve their quality of life, just like in Patch Adams, man. They deserve to have a quality life. Michael, with a little humor, and that's very important. We need that in our world, and I'm supplying that.
Michael, there's never enough time for all your passion. It really has been a blessing you've been on the show. We want to give the audience an opportunity to find out how they can reach out to you, but our audience really appreciates the jokes that you've shared with us today and the ones that Ed shares. And I got to tell you, you being on the show has been a real plus. Hold on, Michael. A real plus.
That's true. It's sort of like Switzerland. I don't know much about Switzerland, but I do know that their flag's a big plus.
Yeah, I think I've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah, Men of Hope.
Yeah, no, not Men of Hope.
Oh, we did it like
All right,
seven
we'll try
times on our
tonight.
first episode.
The
Seven
first
times, I think.
episode.
Yeah. People are going to
Yeah.
get sick of that one. They're going to tune off just because,
Well, now we
no
have
longer
somebody
request.
can assist us with jokes. Look at the
There you go.
humor in this
So,
guy.
Michael, how do people get a hold of you? How do people hire you as a speaker?
Yep,
What's
and
the
I am
best way to
getting paid. I am. The best way to get me is to email me at mweitzman, WEITZMAN, the number 3. That's mweitzman3 at gmail.com. I have all my social handles that I gave you before. They can go on at Instagram at Weitzman Michael. They can go Twitter at mweitzman3. And YouTube, where I have all my amazing videos, mental health and regular comedy at Michael Weitzman on the YouTube channel. And again, it's just like when I told Paul about the story about the starfish. The little kid is taking all the starfish and throwing it in the ocean, and an old man comes by and says, "Why are you throwing? There's so many starfish here. You're not going to be able to put all the starfish in the ocean." So the little boy takes the starfish, throws it in, and says, "But I just helped that one. Let me help somebody that's on this broadcast, that's on this podcast, because that's just helping that one person make a difference in their mental health. Then I just did my job, because that's what success is: doing everything your passion to help others. And it's in the Bible. How may I serve?"
So true, Michael. Hey, and thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it. We're going to have you back because there's so much more stuff to cover. We will put all your details in the show notes, both on YouTube and on Facebook and on the podcast platforms as well. Thank you so much, Michael. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's it for this edition of the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul. Thanks for listening. As always, we appreciate it. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can do that on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube. Thanks a lot and have a great day.